Mama G here. We are on the kitchen tour, week 2. You get to look at dishes in the sink because this is what typically happens in my house during the week, and then we have to bully somebody into doing dishes. That would be a roommate perhaps, not always Mama G. But we had talked about the kitchen over here, my kind of recycling craziness, my 2 dishwashers, my drawers, talked about my stovetop and how next time I'm going to do it a little differently, but we'll just keep going. I always have baskets with fresh fruit or vegetables on it. As soon as something is ripe, it's really important to get it in the refrigerator to halt the ripening process, right? So I know people, I've walked into people's houses where I'll see like avocados that are shriveled to death because they didn't know that you can take this, which is now a ripe avocado. By the way, I give a little push. It's got a little give. It's going to go into the refrigerator now. But you've got to be aware of those kind of things. I keep my tomatoes on the counter. You all know that when you eat a fresh tomato off the vine, warm in the sun, how much flavor it has, right? So, now you've gotten these tomatoes that are picked probably a little previous to when they should be, picked. They sit in a factory, they go into a box, they sit in the back of the warehouse in the grocery store, and then they sit on your shelf. The last thing you want to do is shove them in the refrigerator because they are going to lose all flavor if they even had any to start with. So 100% don't buy extras, right, so that they don't go bad, but keep them on your kitchen counter in a little bowl or something, and then guess what? If they're getting to the point where you need to use them, make a little tomato salad, a little tomato, a little red onion, a little vinegar, a little olive oil, salt, pepper, red pepper flakes. Mama G loves the red pepper flakes. You have a beautiful little side of these beautiful non-starchy vegetables to add to your meal. So don't feel like you got to make this big thing. But I will tell you that these tomatoes, which they are on the tail end of when I need to use them, they're going to be quartered. I'm going to use a little olive oil in that nice big skillet over there with some garlic, a little salt, pepper, red pepper flakes. It is a beautiful little sauteed tomato mixture that I could puree, which I won't, and it'll be like a chunky marinara. I can stick it in the freezer, but considering today's Wednesday, Friday night is pizza night in my house, so I have sauce for our pizzas on that night. So again, there's food waste makes me insane for a multitude of reasons. People are starving out there, we're wasting money, all of these type of things. If you've got something and you don't know what to do with it, message Mama G. I will make your food dreams come true. I'm going to say this like all the time now because that's my new little mantra. Somebody gave us some oranges, so I've been eating my way through there as well. But again, display them, enjoy them, but after they've been there a little while, get them in the refrigerator to halt the process, all right? So that's really important. Just going to take a look at my drawers are all organized and clean because I knew you were coming to visit, right? But again, I had mentioned the other day, if you've got non-stick skillets, you need to treat them appropriately. We've talked about when you got them in your drawers, you need to put little liners. It could be a paper towel. It could be washcloths or a dish towel, right? It could be a rag cut up. But you've got to allow, some kind of separation from metal to the non-stick skillet, right? So that we can keep the surface intact. Once you start getting scratches in there, we're not sure in terms of what kind of chemicals that are being released and such, toss it, all right? Throw it in the recycling. They actually can recycle it for you. So using plastic, using wood on your non-sticks are imperative. I love having different sizes of different spatulas and different things, so you don't need everything, but you need a few good things. I think whisks are really awesome. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this whisk. It's like a flat whisk, which allows you to kind of get into the corners of your pots when you want to whisk things together, but you also know the traditional whisks. Man, look at these drawers. They are just stellar. But, got a couple different sizes of whisks. These need to be over here anyway. And then, as I mentioned before, I've got metal tongs, which I use when I'm serving because they're really nice to, we never really talked about the details of these things. But I love these kind of tongs. Mama G does dinner, well, pre-COVID, anywhere from 8 to 30 people every Sunday night, but we still have our little quarantine crew. But these are very inexpensive. It's really nice for serving. They do things potluck around here, but you cannot use these in your non-stick. So I've got a couple different versions of these Teflon ones, soft ones, so they're not going to damage my surfaces, because there are just times you need to pick and turn up and do different things, not necessarily scoop. I'm a big fan of a scraper, all right? So, you know, you're cutting your vegetables, you got everything here, and now you want to get to your pot. Well, sure, we could throw it in a bowl, or we could keep a bowl right here, but using this as opposed to using a knife, scraping surfaces with this as opposed to using your knife is a really great tool, and I've got one in 2 areas because I use them so much. I think that having a good meat thermometer is important. I happened to pick this up at Costco. It's really inexpensive, and it was on sale, and I knew my husband would love to have one of these. But these are Insta-Reads. I'm a big fan of Insta-Reads. They probably cost about $10, but this is plastic, so you can't just put it in your oven and shut the door. They're accurate. They're great for if you're making bread and you want to check the temperature of the water, right? You can put it in there. It's just good for a multitude of reasons. You also may see things like the candy thermometer. These actually clip on the side of your pot, because if you're making candy for a special occasion, it's really important that the sugar gets to a certain temperature where it dissolves, and you need to dissolve every single crystal, because if there's any crystals left anywhere within the surface of that pot and it comes into that syrupy melted sugar, it will cause it to crystallize again. It's a little chemistry for you there. So this allows you to clip it on the side of the pan. If you were deep frying, anybody deep frying out there? You know when we deep fry? We deep fry on the major holidays when my nephew makes his mommy, who passed away, egg rolls, and he does deep fry the egg rolls. So all of these are great as well. You could use a thermometer that goes into your meat if you're doing a roast or chicken like that and can stay in there. But most ovens nowadays actually come with a probe. So if you didn't know it, you've got it. And it's really nice to be able to put this into your chicken, put this into your roast. I think I'm going to do a leg of lamb coming up for this Easter. And then the oven identifies the temperature. But you got to know what the temperatures are for different things. Pork is kind of in the 140 range. Chicken is definitely in the 160 range. Beef, depending on if you want it rare, you know, those kind of things. So Dr. Google can help you with that as well. I think it is important at times to check your oven temperature. So, you know, little doohickeys like this allow you to put it into the center of the oven and to see if your oven is accurate. If it's not by a big margin, you can actually have somebody come out and adjust that for you. But having something like this allows you to get the temperature correct. I'm not so concerned about when I'm roasting vegetables or cooking meat or chicken or those kind of things. But if you're baking, it really can be a game changer for you, especially if your oven's not balanced. So it may be something that you may want to invest in, having somebody come out to balance your oven and getting the temperature correct as well. What else do I got in here? An assorted amount of wonderful things, but again, things that I use on occasion, right? But a lot of things that I use on the regular. So things over here are typically things that I don't use as often or that I need to maneuver around my stovetop, right? The things that I use by my cutting board, and again, yours may be all in one location, right? Mama G's is lucky to have a big, beautiful kitchen. These are the things that I'm going to use, right, in this location. So try to think about your, you know, your layout. I just bought these cute little safety knives for the littles so they can get in here and start helping me cook a little bit. Big fan of different kinds of juicers. I love this particular one. If we get to the other one, I'll show it to you. And I love, 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 love this microplane. So you can, let me see if I've got a lemon or something over here for you to see. So lemon zest, you can buy it in a bottle, but fresh lemon zest is a game changer. I have fresh citrus out there, so it's wonderful. And the microplaner just allows you to get the very top surface. As soon as you start to see white, we no longer want that, right? But Minnie, you can already smell the lemon, right? Mm-hmm. And this little bit, right, you take a whole lemon on top of your asparagus, you know, your different vegetables, your broccoli after you've roasted, sauteed it, little olive oil, salt, and pepper, you have a delicious meal. But It smells wonderful. You then use the juice after the fact, but the microplaner is wonderful. I also use it to grate cheese. It ends up making a big pile and looks like you have a ton of cheese, but you really don't, which helps us to save some saturated fat and calories. But a couple good tools, right? A good peeler, a good little can opener are all really useful as we maneuver around our kitchen. Got some spatulas and different things in here. Don't mind my husband. Got this for him for his birthday last year. He just wanted a cleaver so badly. And then what do you know? He tells me he wants a cleaver. And voila, right across my social media, come the cleaver ads. I always wonder who's listening, right? And then I always love to have a multitude of measuring cups and things like that. These are the nestling cups. I think everybody needs a good set of nestling cups. They're 1/4, 1/3, 1/2, and 1. This is where you're going to do solid measurements if you're baking, right, as opposed to liquid measurements. So next week, we'll continue to move on. We'll give you some more tips in the kitchen. And bottom line is, you know what Mama G always says, it's not about what you lose, it's all about what you gain. And let me just mention this. I am taking my couple weeks now. We're getting ready to start our Jumpstart program tomorrow, but you got a little bit of time if you want to join me. Understanding that you can reach all of your goals, your weight loss goals, which I know you have, but Mama G wants you to have your health goals to live that long, healthy, independent, joyful life, and we can do it in the kitchen together. Have a beautiful day.